to talk a little bit about love and how we show love to others, how we perceive love shown to us. And I think we often think of Valentine's Day as a commercial holiday invented by Hallmark and the candy companies and the florists, but it's actually an ancient holiday. The part about romantic love didn't come about mostly until Victorian England in the 1800s, but Valentine's Day originated back in the 600s in Rome. And there's lots of different stories about who St. Valentine was and stories about potentially 3 different people, but mostly they attribute it to St. Valentine of Rome, who was a Roman priest, but who helped early Christians avoid prosecution and being executed. So because of that, he was imprisoned and eventually executed and then named as a martyr by the Catholic Church after his passing. His relics are still in Italy if you want to go visit. And the story that's told about him is that while he was in prison, he befriended the jailer's daughter who was blind, and he gave her the miracle of restoring her sight before he was executed, and that the night before his execution, he wrote her a note, which she now could read, and signed it, "Your Valentine." And so that's the story of how Valentine cards started. So this is an ancient holiday that goes back 15 centuries. And so it's a good holiday to practice and think about love. So obviously in that instance, that was friend love, that was familial love. So if you feel like you don't have a romantic partner, it's okay. Valentine's Day was never about that to start with anyway. And then, today, Reverend Laurel's going to talk about the love languages, and that's kind of a new current concept. It was a book written in 1992 by a Baptist pastor named Gary Chapman, and his intent was to help couples communicate better in therapy, but then it became like a $20 million selling book. There's workshops, there's workbooks, there's online quizzes. It's a whole thing. People will say, what's your love language? It's a conversation piece. And if you're not familiar with the basic concepts, the idea is that, first of all, is that we tend to give to other people in the way we wish they would show love to us, and vice versa, which is what causes a lack of communication. And then also that if we have a vocabulary to be able to communicate how we would prefer people to show us love, that will build stronger relationships. So that's the core basis of the love languages. And then he named 5 common love languages. If you're not familiar with them, they are words of affirmation, like words of encouragement or gratitude, physical touch, nonverbal body language, giving of gifts, even if it's just something small, sharing time, which is especially one-on-one time, and acts of service. And service is not a have to, like take out the trash, but more like doing something for somebody to take something off their plate is an act of service. So these have now stretched to not just couples and romantic partners, but to families, children, friends, co-workers. They talk about it in the workplace. I actually did a presentation on this in my last therapy job. And so it's just a tool for us communicating better what we need from others and how we want to express love to the people we care about. So if you feel like you're interested, you might want to dive deeper into learning more about the love languages, but really it's just a tool to reflect on how have you shown love in the past, how have you perceived the way people showed love to you, and keep in mind that those things are impacted by the way we were raised, by our cultures and our religions that we were taught, and also by our general life experiences. It's also important to think about the other person's intent or your intent, and is it being communicated clearly. I worked for a florist part-time, and anytime a young man came in to get a last-minute bouquet, he would say, "How much trouble are you in? That's how much money you should spend." And so it was always a joke, but we would tell the young guys there's levels of like showing love with flowers, and Apology flowers are the worst, and like anniversary birthday parties are okay, but just because flowers are the best, and they laugh. And so some guys would go, oh no, just because flowers. So if you're interested, you might want to delve into that deeper and then also reflect on, is there a better way to communicate how you would like people to show love to you, or a better way to show it to other people in the way they want. So I also think that we can use the ancient holiday to inspire us to express love before it's too late, because he wrote her the note the night before he was executed, and to show us that there are miracles in removing our blindnesses and seeing things differently. And I'd like to close with a quote from Jane Seymour, the actress. Someone was asking her about her purpose in life and aging, and she said, well, really, the only thing we take with us when we go is the love we've shared and the differences we've made.